Hello everyone, my name is Nancy Monroe. I'm the CEO and founder of Verbal Transactions, and I'm going to share with you a case study about one of our customers, Microsoft, how they used our immersive simulator. And at the end of my slide presentation, I'm actually going to show a video example of the simulator in use. So I'm going to talk to you about how Microsoft is now using our simulator to predict agent behavior versus trying to look through a crystal ball and predict what's going to happen. So first of all, we're using natural language processing or speech recognition to automate teaching someone how to do a new skill. We're able to predict call center agent behaviors based upon how they behave inside the simulator. We're capturing voice on-screen and voice and on-screen interactions, and we're capturing data that helps them proactively plan around how to properly staff these call centers. And if you can imagine, Microsoft has thousands and thousands of not only employees that are call center agents, but thousands of contracted call center agents as well. And we're able to break these transactions down into very granular chunks so that we can really pinpoint exactly where in this situation is an agent getting off track. So rather than just trying to do a macro approach, we're doing a micro approach to analyzing their behaviors. So their biggest problem was they see that a lot of times call center agents are practicing on customers, and that's really not a great way to provide a good customer experience. So they wanted to improve their soft skills and hard skills. They wanted them to teach them how to harness active listening skills, because a lot of times, sometimes these support engineers make assumptions very quickly in on the when they're handling a certain situation from a customer. So they wanted to show them the right way to model the best practice behavior, and they wanted to find a scalable way to manage these behaviors. Not only when we started with them, this was before COVID-19, but they, as you can imagine, have a very remote workforce and also a very large contingency of contracted workers. So our solution is ACEs. It's kind of a play on words for flying ace, and it stands for Accelerated Contact Engagement System. So it's a combination of software that lets you build immersive, realistic simulations. We're leveraging Microsoft's speech recognition engine that's built into every Windows operating system. So we're not having to incur a streaming cost of using other types of speech tools. It's built in, so there's no transaction fee or transmission fee for that speech recognition engine. And in the background is running a MySQL database, which captures any type of behavior that we want to capture there. So we first started with a Vietnam call center, and my first thought was, gee, their accents are probably going to be pretty heavy. But we marched on, and so we wanted to teach them how to ask open-ended questions so that they could really get to the heart of what the problem is with the customer. They also wanted to measure how much time it took them from the time they stated something that expressed empathy, how long did it take them to ask a proper probing question? Because they're actually measuring that in the production environment, so we built that into the simulator. And then we built 3 different scenarios to assist them with onboarding new staff. So they were fairly simple transactions. And then we also built 3 levels of immersion. So level 1 of immersion level provides them with everything to say on the screen, everything to click on, how to navigate through the software. They get up to 3 attempts to get those things correct. Level 2 immersion, we're not giving them the clues right away unless they start making a mistake. And then there's a built-in bot or a coach that talks to them to say, hey, I don't think I heard you correctly, let's try that again. And then the 3rd level of immersion is that we completely remove any kind of hints. So the crystal ball moment came when, they said the agent's verbal responses are not being recognized in the simulator. And my first thought was, even on the first level when they're given word for word what to say, and they said, yeah. So their thought was, well, the simulator must not be working properly. Well, just from my experience in working with speech recognition software, I thought, well, more than likely their accents are too heavy so that a human being cannot detect that. And sure enough, they put the agents into production, and customer says, we just can't understand these people. So the simulator did actually predict their behavior. It predicted that they would not do well when speaking with customers because they weren't being understood. So these agents now were converted to chat agents, even though, because they actually had the right skills to help solve these situations, they just couldn't be understood. So we conducted a post-simulation survey, and those that were on the job less than 30 days, their confidence level was much higher on how to handle these transactions. Those that were on the job longer than 30 days, not really much of a significant difference. We attributed to that to the fact that these were fairly basic transactions, so more than likely they were way past how to handle those anyway. So phase 2, we worked with their Azure engineers to help them practice active listening skills because engineers at this level just simply hate role-playing, and I'm sure a lot of you out there do too. And so they just said, let's find a different way to teach these engineers how to demonstrate this skill. So they also, in this process, the subject matter expert, came to us and said, gee, I'm really recognizing what's a good, better, and best way to handle these support requests. How do I want them to actually interact with the customer? Force them to think through this for the first time ever. So what we learned in phase 1 is now in phase 2, if they are not being understood on the second attempt, we're going to have the bot talk to them and say, hey, slow down, enunciate, you may be speaking too fast. And the built-in intelligence actually gives us ways to help proactively address them. So what happened from the result of phase 2 is that a lot of the agents that were in, say, Central America, the bot did tell them to slow down. so it helped them, proactively get ahead of the game versus being put in production without being made aware that they were speaking too fast. So key takeaways for them were it provided a much more positive, safe learning experience to practice at their own pace. It provided an objective versus subjective coaching with this automatic feedback. It provided a much more solid baseline for measuring good, better, and best behaviors. And it definitely proactively predicted skill readiness. And the added bonus is that it accelerated the knowledge transfer process. If you think about the Malcolm Gladwell book around the 10,000 hours to master something, well, people don't have the luxury of 10,000 hours to learn a new skill in this day and age. And certainly using something that's immersive like our simulator can help accelerate that process. And it gave the agents exposure to the multitasking that they're going to have in real life when they're in production of being on the phone and having 1 or 2, sometimes 3 monitors going at the same time. And from now on, moving forward, they're using this as an English proficiency tool to help identify, because all our support engineers and agents all over the globe have to have a certain level of English proficiency. So now I'm going to dive into kind of a generic example to show you how the simulator works.
In this simulation you will be taking an inbound call for a new reservation. Listen carefully for what the prospective passenger has to say. Are you ready?
No, not really.
Don't worry, I will guide you through the process.
Okay.
Listen carefully for what the prospective passenger has to say. Begin speaking when you hear the inbound call present the beep tone. Here we go.
Thank you for calling Southwest Airlines. My name is Nancy. How can I assist you today?
Nice work.
I don't know why I had to wait on hold so long just to make a reservation.
The customer seems to be upset due to the long wait on hold. Inform her of our new discounted flights to Hawaii, which is causing a delay on the phone lines. Express empathy for her long delay.
I'm sorry you had to wait on hold so long. Our new flights to Hawaii are causing some phone delays and backups. How can I help you today?
She already informed you that she wants to make a reservation.
Ugh, I already told you. I want to make a reservation.
Apologize to the customer.
I apologize. Yes, you did say that. So let's
Now
get you
ask her
started.
what her departing city is.
What city will you be departing from?
I'm leaving from Chicago.
Which destination would you like?
I'm going to Denver.
Okay.
Ask how many passengers will be traveling with her.
How many passengers will be traveling with you?
No one else is traveling with me.
Okay.
You did not make the right selection. Try again.
Okay.
Now ask her for the dates she will be traveling.
What days will you be traveling?
I'll be leaving March 1st and coming back on the 15th.
Okay.
Hold
Very
on.
good.
It looks like you didn't select the correct destination. You will have to ask her again for this information. You need to do a better job of listening and keying in the right information. She's already upset she had to wait on hold, so I'm sure she won't like repeating herself. Be sure to apologize.
Ma'am, I apologize, but I guess I keyed in the wrong destination city. Can you provide that to me again?
Thank you for apologizing.
Ugh, are you kidding me? I already told you, Denver.
Okay, nice recovery. This completes our exercise for taking an inbound call. Based upon some of the errors you did, you may want to run through this again.
So I'm going to run back through it to show you that it does.
So as you can see, it's a great learning tool to help someone learn how to handle any type of conversation that you want to coach someone on. The bot provides automatic feedback, even though she was kind of smarmy in that example. But again, you can make the bot say anything, and it's all tailored to any type of scenario that you want to build. So if you have questions on our software ACEs, just send me an email. I'd be happy to respond or set up a demo to walk you through how the software works. Thanks for watching.